Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. Warning, this podcast contains spoilers.
Let's go watch it in 2D. No, let's go watch it in 3D. But if we watch it in 3D, then is it worth the cost?
Experience a strange adventure.
Time for a barbecue. Can you not show off while we are running for our lives?
Meet strange creatures.
You're not gonna eat us, right? No, but they will.
And discover Disney's strange world.
Don't touch that. Hey, stop pushing buttons.
Rated PG. Only in theaters.
Hello. This is Adolf, and I have with me Classic Jake.
Howdy, folks.
And New Jake.
Hi, everybody.
And today we're going to do a Spoilercast for Strange World. And we're going to just get right into it. So if you have not seen it, this is it. This is your warning. We're going to play some music, and we're going to get right to it. Alright, so, Jake, we haven't heard your opinions on the movie. How do you think about the 3D first?
Okay, my theater, the 3D was absolutely abysmal.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they ran the movie. They had the light. They had it really bright.
Oh.
Once they had the projector turned up instead of down.
So, I guess it's good that you didn't review it then, officially for the site.
Yeah, I would have given it a weak 3D.
Yeah, and I don't think it deserves that. Okay.
So my presentation of this, what I saw, was terrible. And I figured it was because the Avatar trailer and the other 3D trailer they had, Mario, were also weak.
Okay.
Believe me, Betty was complaining.
Oh, they had Mario 3D trailer?
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, this presentation, it looked flat too.
Okay.
So I knew this was a theater problem. Believe me, the few people that were there, we all bitched afterwards, and of course they didn't. Being Regal, they didn't care.
Well, hopefully they will give you a free coupon. Well, that's disappointing. So
No, because once they saw that I was one of their club members, their attitude was, I didn't have to pay much to go see this movie. And I go, what are you going to do about the 2 hours of my life that were wasted?
Well, to recap what me and Jacob reviewed, Jacob gave it editor's choice, and I gave it great. So, you missed out.
Yeah, especially considering the quality of the movie.
All right, let's get to the quality of the movie. Jake, what are your thoughts on it, since we haven't heard your opinion yet on it?
Oh, this movie was wretched. It felt like I felt like I binged watched Netflix series.
Oh, wow, okay. Because we kind of like it, but you don't love it by any means. So what kind of score would you give it?
Yeah.
4.
Oh, wow.
Why?
I just thought it was pedestrian, predictable. I was not the least bit impressed by the handy-capable dog that they did everything in their power to make it look like the poor thing didn't have 3 legs.
It had 3 legs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
And the 500th first-time gay character that can be eliminated by dubbing because he had nothing absolutely that could not be dubbed out in another market to say he was gay.
Yeah, they could have just said he's a friend, and that was a new friend, and that's it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm like going, and how many times has Disney promoted our first gay character?
Okay.
Like, so I was not impressed. This was almost, to me, this was like a cringe comedy version of a woke movie. It's
it did have the avocado toast, so I mean, you're kind of on the money on that regard.
Yeah, and all the stuff and the eco and it was just so predictable. And then I was like going, oh, and then when I called the twist, I was like, God damn it! And no surprises.
So the twist of being a turtle, I didn't get that. I was like, I don't know what this is, but sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's the world. It's a thing in a lot of Asian mythology
And Native American, I think, as well.
Mm-hmm. There's several cultures that the whole Earth is on the back of the turtle.
Okay, so let's get into some more aspects of this. So, we learn about the father and the son, and they are fighting each other about exploring, and they find the plant which they call Pando, which I never got why. Never okay, yeah. Sure.
I thought it worked for pandering.
And the father's quest was to go on the other side of the mountains because no one has ever done that before. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't know what else they're gonna find over there, but I can't imagine it'd be that interesting. And then oh, it's ocean. Nothing. Nothing is the answer. Okay, but he gets lost, and they try to find him, and they're like, oh, son, you don't need to go. You need to stay here and protect the farm. And I was like, really? It's just a farm between the three people? The mom, the dad, the son. That's it. They don't have a team of people. They're the inventors of the whole economy. They don't have other machines or anything else.
Yeah.
And naming your kid Searcher. I mean, damn, that would have given. He should have kicked him off the turtle.
I mean, I respect farming as a industry, but I mean, 3 people doing it—that's just too much.
Yeah. Maybe if it was just a garden.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for farming, we would all be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was at first worried that the mom was going to be a character that... Well, the mom did get better in the presentation, but she was very light. Really didn't get that much time with her.
Yeah. Well, it was more of a father-son story.
Yeah. And
lots of exposition. Lots and lots and lots.
Well, it's written by the guy who co-wrote Raya and the Last Dragon, so what do you expect?
Well, you never know, but maybe.
Raya and the Last Dragon. I mean, this was one of the worst misfires. This rates up there with things like Chicken Little and Mars Needs... I kept going, God, I miss the Robinsons.
But that's actually a well-regarded movie. I haven't seen it, but...
I love Meet the Robinsons. This was more of Mars Needs Mom's territory.
Yeah.
And I hated the character designs. And I kept thinking, God, this is like the anti-Up.
Now, I'm surprised, Jake, because I was thinking that this was right up your alley. You love these 1940s, 30s kinds of serial adventure kind of things like Up and like this.
I do, and this had none of it. It was all surface, and not even good surface. It's like they just did one day's Wikipedia research and it's like, oh, and for the art, let's rip off Indiana Jones. Logos and stuff were all just ripped off of Raiders.
That was fairly purchased by LucasArts.
Yeah.
So I guess the other questions were, how do they know where to go? They go into this thing and they crash in and they're like, okay, how do you already have a hole here? How do you know where to go? I mean, the whole movie I was kind of thinking, okay, so where are you going? You say you're going to find the issue, but how the hell do you know where anything is? You've never been here before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And of course, some people get separated, and then you see the son and the father get separated, and the mom and I guess the president or leader, I don't know.
She's president.
Okay. And then they're like, okay, you gotta stay the ship, we gotta make sure. And then the kid is like, I want to go out for an adventure and find my things. And it's like, okay. First of all, aren't you? I know kids are cocky and arrogant and they think they're invincible, but I think I would be pretty cautious and be like, you know what? I don't. This is really weird. There's a lot of light in this area, and it's supposed to be underground. It doesn't make any kind of sense. Everything's purple and pink, so maybe I shouldn't be exploring. Maybe I should be smart, but maybe I'm just not. Maybe I'm smart now, and I don't think how kids think. But
Yeah, the whole Hollow Earth thing was done so much better in the recent Godzilla movies.
I'd say better in Journey to the Center of the Earth with Brendan Fraser.
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, better than that. Yeah, exactly. Or heck, even the Rock sequel was better.
Yeah,
than this.
because it was fun.
That was pretty bad.
So we get this separated, and the father finds his father, and then they get attacked by tentacle things. And father has a fire gun that has infinite ammo, which is awesome. I don't know how the hell he made that, but cool. And he knows how to eat, and because he looks totally fine. So I don't know how he figured out what to eat, but I guess that's being an explorer. You explore what you eat, but being down there for 25 years, it's impressive that he's as good a shape as any, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they're trying to find each other, and eventually the big idea behind it was that you're inside the creature, because Searcher finds out, and his son, that they're on a turtle, and they fly outside and go the other side of the mountains, and they see a giant eyeball, and that's the revelation that they're trying to do. And they're like, no, we actually need to kill the pando, because it's actually a fungus of some sort, or some kind of infection or something.
Disease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is hurting it, and if by using Pando, it makes it work weak, and they just gotta destroy it so that way it could survive, and everything else in there was the immune system and such. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. I wasn't expecting it. I kind of liked it.
Instead of harvesting it more efficiently, but I guess since they were growing it on this twist of the turtle being the world is really common in anime, and so it wasn't that hard for me to predict, because I figured they had to do something to try to worm their way into the Asian market, particularly China. So they went with the world turtle.
Now, I was disappointed that there's only one turtle, and it seems to be stationary or going somewhere, and not have like multiple turtles, and that would be kind of a more cool idea.
If they had did that, I might have given this a 5.
Because it's just like, okay, another issue, there's, different races and such, which is cool. I'm not against diversity, but if all of humanity is on this turtle, and the turtle is going different ways, would there really be enough time to deviate and have different skin tones because of the sun? Because it seems like it's just going different ways of the ocean. So wouldn't everyone look the same?
Yeah, and their technology, they sure developed an awful lot of technology that differentiated from different environments in this one singular environment. But I think we're a lot more. We're considering. We have more consideration and thought about this movie than the people who made it.
Now, I wasn't ever bored here. I thought it was just kind of okay.
No.
I was bored to tears. I was like, I hated this movie. I would rather see A Wrinkle in Time again than see this.
Wow. Now, I'm surprised how the grandpa is progressive and, understands everything and is okay with the son or the grandson. And I was like, okay, you would think he would be actually more, crazy. Not just like because he's a grandpa, but if you're by yourself for 20 years, you're going to go crazy.
Yeah, I believe they put this in theaters. Of all the things they sent to streaming, this should have been the one they sent.
So you would have switched it and had...
But they wouldn't have one of the biggest losses in Disney history. I mean, this is going to rate up there, losing money for Disney like John Carter.
I don't know if it'll go that far. I think it'll be closer to Treasure Planet losses, but
Yeah, well, that's another one I can't stand.
I haven't seen that one.
It's terrible. It's even worse than the Atlantis one.
I think that Treasure Planet's all right. I'd probably give that a 6 too, or 5. It's in that range. It's not terrible.
I would definitely give Treasure Planet a 5, and Atlantis I'd also give it a 5.
It's in that range. It's not bad. I watched them both on Disney Plus, and they're like, okay, it's enjoyable enough. I'm glad I didn't watch it in theaters, and it's fine. And the 3D really could have been a lot more interesting, I feel like, too, in this, where I do agree I really liked it, like Jacob said, but I feel like some shots could have been played up more, and maybe they were afraid to do it because it's, animated kids movie, quote unquote, they're aiming it to be kids, so they don't want to push it and make the kids, overwhelm them or something, but I don't really feel like that's a valid excuse, considering that the How to Train Your Dragon movies all played up to 3D and the kids loved it, so...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, all watching this movie, I kept wanting to watch it. I just wanted to leave the theater and go see something like How to Train Your Dragon or the Robinson, Meet the Robinsons. There was, I was like going, God, I'm sitting here, butt twitching, just wanting out of here. It also didn't help that there were crying kids in the theater. I think they wanted to leave too.
I was the only person in my theater watching the movie on opening weekend. It was something.
Yeah, there were actually several walkouts.
Wow, I had some kids crying, but I could tune them out. I don't care. So it's interesting. And it's really, it has no soul to it. I guess they're progressive in some ideas, but they're not really like trying to give any kind of depth here to these characters, and you don't cry, you don't have any connection to them. You're like, okay, I like all of them, but you're okay.
Everything was This felt like a first draft. Everything was surface. It's like, let's just throw these woke out.
Do you think this movie is the reason why Bob Chapek was fired?
I think this might be the very last straw.
Yeah.
Because his other decisions, he left money on the table, and this time he cost him money, big time.
Yeah.
I think this was the very last straw. And then plus they're going into their 100th anniversary, and this is what was their Thanksgiving release for their 100th anniversary. Boy.
Now that new intro is pretty nice.
Yeah.
All right, well, there isn't that much to the movie, so there isn't that much else we could talk about. I felt like we pretty much covered all the bases here. Is there anything else you want to say?
All we would be doing is beating a dead horse.
All right. So even if you had a pristine 3D presentation, you wouldn't rewatch this, Jake?
I don't think so.
Wow, okay. Jacob, you have any last words or anything else?
No, not much to talk about.
Yeah, we give crap to DreamWorks sometimes, but sometimes Disney can make a turd too, and this might be it.
I've always thought Disney was not ever as good as Pixar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disney hasn't been the same since Walt passed. Their animation just hasn't been the same.
There's definitely ups and downs, but Pixar usually is the better ones of the,
Exactly.
Like, I really loved Encanto last year, and no one cared about...
Yeah, Encanto was really good.
It became huge at home, but theater-wise, nobody cared.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't as big as it probably could have been, because, they released it on Thanksgiving and then released it for, home for Christmas, so people were just like, I'll wait to home, so... But yeah, when it came home, people really loved it, and but yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, Encanto felt so great, you would swear it was a Pixar movie.
And it had no villain, which was really cool.
Exactly. That was a nice... Yeah, exactly. The closest thing to a villain was the grandmother. She wasn't a villain at all. Not really.
Yeah, just misunderstood.
And she misunderstood the situation. So, I mean... It had a sense of reality to it. There's not always a villain.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we're gonna wrap up because we're not. This is not Encanto Spoilercast. This is Strange World, and we kind of keep changing subjects because there's not much here. So it's disappointing, and that's gonna be it for us. Bye.
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 All right. Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Mr. Bungle 5, Kano 3D, Gravity Head Zero, Alex Folk, and Kevin Winter for your financial support on Patreon.com. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye.